Introducing Pi and Daubeny's Mangerie Pentaceratops. Now, Mangerie, of course, is the name of the modding group, but this is the brand new Pentaceratops mod that is here, made by Pi, Daubeny, and a bunch of other people like Radasaur, Fei Long, and Tal Metru. This is an upcoming mod. It's not out just yet. I have been given permission to showcase it early for you all, and here it is. This is the Pentaceratops made by Pi and Daubeny. This is a beautiful looking dinosaur. What does the male and female look like? So the female pretty much gets rid of all the greens on the default skin, and the colors go to more yellowy browns, more beiges. You have 5 subspecies. You have Sternbergi, which is this one right here. Then you get the Pectensis, which gets speculative quills. It also looks like there are slight changes to the horns as well, and the frill gets a little bit smaller in terms of width. This dinosaur gets a little bit skinnier overall. Then you've got Bruticus, which is horn and frill variation. You've got massive new horns and a massive new frill. If you were to compare this to the standard one, obviously there's the horns there. Then you go to Bruticus, more curled and longer horns. Then you get Praegressi, which is horn and frill variation once again. Compare that to Bruticus, obviously it's a lot smaller. Looks like that frill variation is quite similar to the standard version of the dinosaur, but the horns are more curled, like downwards in a sense. Another beautiful variation of the mod. And then you've got Sullivani, which is Navajoceratops, which is a real dinosaur, of course, Navajoceratops. This is a very nice subspecies. Then you get the last one, which is Cialei, which is Terminocavus, which is another ceratopsian dinosaur. So it's a variation. You've got 2 variations based off 2 other ceratopsian dinosaurs, Navajoceratops and Terminocavus. So here we have the baby Pentaceratops mod, and this thing is, honestly, it looks pretty cute. It's got that massive frill still, which I do think is quite funny. But, of course, we do get a standard bite attack with it as well. Actually, yeah, it is a bite. You do actually get to do your hide customization straight when you are a juvenile. I think this is juvenile. And then you also get to do a kick attack as well, or a back limb ability as well, which gives you all of these options here. Of course, they cost marks, so it really depends how quickly you're able to get them marks. But other than that, default, you get a bite attack straight away. And when we compare its attacks to our little, not so little, iguanodon test subject, also, can this thing jump? It can jump as a baby. Oh, look at that. It doesn't look like that drains stamina at the moment, but obviously do bear in mind, there might be some stuff that aren't fixed just yet before the mod goes up. Anyways, the bite does a little bit of damage. I mean, for a baby, that is actually quite a bit of damage. It has about a second of cooldown, 2 seconds of cooldown. So, yeah, do bear that in mind. Its cooldown can allow you to be caught out a little bit there. This dinosaur comes with a lot of abilities, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. There's a lot to go through here. When you talk about your common category, which is normally where people put the passives, you have quite a few. You've got balanced, which no negative or positive benefits. You get plus defense, which is plus 5% defense, minus 5% speed. You then get harmonious, which is plus 5% health regen, minus 5% attack damage, which is a fairly good trade-off. Combative, plus 5% attack, minus 5% defense, and then swift, plus 5% speed, minus 5% stamina. It's the first time we've seen a health regen subspecies on a mod or passive ability like that, but that's pretty neat. That being said, for the head, you get 4 attacks, 2 of which you can equip. You get your bite, which we spoke about before on the baby. It's a quick bite, does medium damage. You get your crushing beak, which applies low damage, but applies a status effect called Rupture for 30 seconds. Slows your movement by 5% on hit, stacks 3 times for a 15% speed reduction. Then you get the headbutt, which is a quick headbutt that does medium damage, low knockback, low bleed. Then you get head smash, which is high damage and high bleed. And it applies a status effect called off balance for 60 seconds, increasing knockback dealt by 5%, which is insane. Then you get 3 different sensors. You get 1 slot here for them. You get Berserker, which is when you're on low health, your attack cooldown is 25% faster and deals 10% more damage. This is the same as what we had before with different ceratopsians in the game. I think I think Albertoceratops has this. Stampede is another one that ceratopsians in the game get. It's increasing your damage by 2.5% for each ceratopsian in your group. Then you have Stoke Defender, which increases your armor by 10% if there is another ceratopsian in your group. And it looks like it doesn't stack, but it's just a one-time thing. Still pretty good. You then get 2 front limb abilities. Shove, which is a short shoulder check, medium damage and high knockback, applies a status effect called off balance once again. Stomp, which is a heavy stomp, high bone break, high damage, requires slow movement. So I don't know if you'll be able to do that while running or walking, maybe when you're crouch walking or slow walking. For metabolism, you get your standard herbivore, you get your standard forager, and then you get osteophage, which is allowing you to eat bones, roots, and nuts, which is pretty cool. First ceratopsian I think we're going to see in the game that allows you to eat bones. For the hide, you get resilient scales and tough scoots. Standard ones there, I don't really need to go in much detail. Then you get 2 leg abilities. Strong legs, we know this one. It's pretty neat. Every dinosaur pretty much has this. Barrel down, which is a lunge forward, high damage, and high bleed. Pretty sure this is kind of like a charge, pretty much. For your back limb, you have 3 passive abilities and 1 attack. Your attack is the kick, which does medium damage, low knockback, and applies the status effect of off balance. Then you get Defiant, which after crouching for 10 seconds, you gain 15% outgoing damage at the cost of 5% of your bleed resistance. Then you get Brace for Impact, which after crouching for 10 seconds, gain 15% damage resistance at the cost of 5% of your outgoing damage. And then you get Armored Rear, which damage and status effects inflicted to your tail is dramatically reduced. A standard ability there. Then we go to your final abilities. You get 2 focal abilities. You get Daunting Roar, which intimidates nearby creatures, reducing their damage output by 15% for 15 seconds, stacks twice. Then you have Enrage, which increases your attack damage by 15% and your damage resistance by 5% for 30 seconds. Once again, a pretty good ability as well. So, let's showcase the attacks of this dinosaur. On our Iguanodon once again, you've got your standard bite, which does more damage now as an adult, of course, but it still isn't that much. Then you have, I believe, this is the crushing bite, does slightly more damage. So, you have your standard headbutt, which does slight knockback, but it is actually a fairly decent attack in terms of its damage output, and it has a very quick cooldown. And finally, you have your head smash, which this one should do a lot more. Yeah, this thing does a lot more, but it's got a 14-second cooldown. You can then just intertwine it with your standard headbutt while you're waiting, and you can just tear an opponent to shreds. By the time you get that head smash back again, you'll be almost pretty much halfway through a dinosaur, and you can almost pretty much kill them, especially somewhat of an Iguanodon in terms of size and stature. But now we can go to the rear kick, which does a nice amount of damage, but not loads. Now, one thing I do want to showcase, of course, is this charge attack. It is a standard charge attack. I thought it would be. And obviously, with the timeout, hold down, depends on the damage that you do. You get 30-second cooldown. You do about a quarter of an iguanodon's health, and that is quite a bit. That's a nice attack right there. So when it comes to the skins, you get about 11 skins, I believe, if I've done the maths right. 4, 8, 11. Yeah, you get 11 skins. So you get the default one, which is right here, which is a nice skin. I realize I made this sub on Termino Cavis, which, I mean, is fair, but it's not the default one. Anyways, we've got the default skin, which has pants 1, 2, 3, 4 there. You've got default with greens and everything there. Then you get the Badlands skin, possibly one of my favorite skins. Very nice skin overall. Then you get Latifrons, another nice skin, more browns and darker colors. Reaper, of course, that classic skull shape. A lot of mods love to do this, as well as official dinosaurs. Blueberry, which obviously is a nice non-offensive mix of purples and blues and other colors like that. Then you get the apple skin. You get Morpho, which, oh my god, that is a really, really pretty frill. Gotta say, definitely up there as one of my favorites. I'd say that actually is probably my favorite at the moment. Thundercloud, similar to Morpho, with very, very dramatic frill designs, and also great blend of colors on this skin. Then you wrap things up with Jackson's, which is another gorgeous skin and gorgeous frill designs as well. I'd say this, like the last three, Morpho, Thunderlord and Jackson's, definitely my favorite ones. Then you got the albino one, which obviously has the classic pinky face. Then you get the melanistic one, which has the classic, well, melanistic colors. You can also make it even more melanistic. That being said, I think the color, like, design on melanistic doesn't look that melanistic in the icon. Anyways, that's all the skins. And there we have it, everybody. That is Mangerie Pentaceratops, or Pi and Daubeny's Mangerie Pentaceratops. This thing I actually quite like. I will say, it looks pretty neat. I like the skins, and I also like the different subspecies that you've got going on with it. The model, I think, is pretty neat as well. It's the first time seeing a Pentaceratops in the game. It is a 4-slot Ceratopsian, so it's going to sit in between that of Albertoceratops and Eotriceratops. It definitely does show that here. Now, let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments down below. If you want to check out another mod spotlight, I recommend this one. That's on the screen now. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.